This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Everybody love to rake and scrape.
We love rake and scrape music. Over here.
I'm from Cat Island. I love down rake and scrape.
What do you like?
Rake and scrape.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Bahamas. In fact, good yawning this morning. Look at such a beautiful world. The sun said, you know what? I've been hard on the Bahamian people. I can get up late this morning. I can take a seat. I can chill out on the beach behind some coconut trees and let these people live so they don't start sweating before 9 a.m. in the morning. So I want to say good morning and thank you to the sun for your blessings. I don't think you all understand how important these conversations are. Good morning. It is Thursday, the 17th of June, 2021, and you're on the clock with Erin, Greene. We have a jam-packed show today, so let's get right to it. Today's show is brought to you by the Department of Inland Revenue. I want to say good morning to the U.S. Charge d'Affaires, Usher Pitts and her family, and to her wonderful support team for always creating safe spaces for LGBTI people and for Bahamians generally. I also want to thank the Pitt family for their support of local farmers, fishermen, producers, and farmers markets. And on another more important note, Ms. Usha Pitts and myself have started some very, very sensitive and delicate high-level trade talks about mangoes. I want to create the WMO, the World Mango Organization, and the Bahamas will be the headquarters for mango inspections and quality control. The Bahamas will grow the world's largest mango forest with every single variety of mango present. We're going to have mango juice and mango lemonade and mango daiquiri and mango sorbet, mango ice cream, mango salsa, mango leather, dried mango, mango pepper sauce, mango chutney, mango jam syrup, and mango tea. And when the world thinks of mangoes, they'll think of the Bahamas. And I will be the mango czar. Y'all could call me Erin Mangola Greene. And I don't know if y'all heard that song, that little snippet of that song at the beginning there. That's one song called Everybody Loves the Rake and Scrape by Stalit. But what y'all don't know is the original of that song was called Everybody Love the Mangoes, written by Erin Mangola Greene. And Stalit teefed that song from me, and he turned it into an international classic. But I ain't mad at him because he's not just a celebrity rake and scrapist, but he is the celebrity chef. So I ain't that mad at him because he know what to do with them mangoes. I know I got a guest coming up right now, but I have to say this. I got some disturbing news. Not the news in the newspaper about BPL, and somebody trying to tell me that there's a difference between an ID and an access card. Because an access card could only be used by the person who's authorized to have access. So, I'm not going to talk about that extremely disturbing story in the Tribune. I want to talk about this other disturbing rumor that I heard that somebody was round here yesterday trying to rob trash collectors. Now, I haven't been able to verify whether that's true or not, but I want to put a warning out there to you, whoever you is, doing this or thinking about doing this. No, this don't make any sense, sir or madam. Because, feminism, equality. Women have bad head too. You can't be robbing the garbage man. And when you say garbage man, put respect in your mouth and bass in your voice. We're talking about sanitation engineers, the people who keep your country clean when you refuse to do it, when you are unwilling or unable to take care of the waste that you create. These are the people that come behind you and do it. And I tell you, I have nothing but respect for the young men, because I haven't seen any women on the trucks in my area yet. But there must be women, the young men and women who are working these jobs. Y'all don't be dissing my brethren them. How could you pull a gun on essential workers? Let me show you something. The weed man could go on strike and don't come to work for 365 days. And you know what? You could be all right. You ain't dead. But let the garbage man, let the trash collection team stop working for 1 week. Y'all think y'all full of foolishness? Wait till you see the evidence of it in front of you.
Country shut down.
You know what I'm saying? Good morning to my guest co-host, Mr. Darwin Thompson. How are you?
Good morning, Erin.
How you doing? How you doing?
Good,
I'm
good.
glad to have you back in studio for Men's Health Month.
Thank you.
I didn't say that strongly enough. We do not disrespect trash collectors in this town. Also, on another note, I heard that there's a gang of young men called Tom and Jerry and gang around the place doing foolishness. And I think that they have learned their lesson. But we do not target the vulnerable for our petty crimes. We do not target old ladies and people mommy and Grammy for our petty crimes. We do not instill fear in them at the end of a gun. We do not do it.
Especially
there are many-
in our blood Grammy.
You see what I'm saying? Why would you? And first, thank you for raising that point. Dear young men, I'm going to need y'all to, if you can, listen to the show today. Because we're trying to reach out to you. I brought some young men into the studio. I say young men. I brought some men into the studio today to have conversations that I think are important for young men. But before we get to that conversation, I got a wonderful initiative that we have to discuss today. And so I want to bring in my guests on the Zoom platform. Arlington, is Nurse Lewis on the platform? Good morning, Nurse Lewis. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Listen, when you reached out to me, I just had to find a space to talk about it. I want to make sure we give the audience enough time to prepare themselves if they want to participate in these wonderful events. So tell us, what's happening tomorrow morning?
Okay, so tomorrow morning, and again, actually next week, Friday, we're having Friday testing. So it's part of our regional testing day initiative here at the National HIV/AIDS Center. And so basically what it is we are going to be set up on Aaron Bailey Park from tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And we'll be offering free rapid HIV testing. And so persons will be able to come on, have the test done, wait for their results, which will be available in about 30, 20 minutes, and get their results right then and there. And they also have the opportunity to get free things.
That's what I was
It
about
ain't
to
no
say.
free mango, but it's other free things.
Incentives, right? Like we shift culture with incentives by incentivizing behavior. So tell us about some of these free things I could possibly win if I come down there.
Well, one of the things, I know how to wear it because this weather a little tricky and you never know, but we have refreshments because, sometimes it get a little hot out there on the park.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have refreshments available for persons who come out there and participate. Also, we've partnered Alive. They've made some donations to us for incentives that will be given out to persons at the end of their testing.
Absolutely. But the most important incentive is knowing your status.
Definitely. And so it's very important to know your status because at the end of that, now you're able to make better decisions. So that's whether you are getting a result that's negative. So now you're like, okay, I'm negative. I want to stay negative. So you want to make sure that you continue to engage in behaviors that will protect you and avoid HIV transmission. It's going to want you to make sure that you know your partner or partner's status, because if you don't know, you know for a fact, for certain, my test negative. So now you're going to be more aware of making sure that the persons who you engage with, that they're also negative. And if your test result comes back positive, now again, you're able to make decisions about how you can remain healthy so you can continue doing whatever it is you do, go to work, go to school, stay at home, take care of your family. You will know this, so you're able to be late to care, get free medication that's available, as well as free blood works, free support, all of the good things that'll help you to continue to live healthy lives.
Absolutely. What are some of here's what I wanted to ask. Are there support groups or are there programs prevention and awareness programs specifically targeting young men and young adults?
So we work, okay, the here at the National HIV/AIDS Center, we offer support, we offer education, and it's not only geared, it's geared toward anyone, but definitely if we have a group that they want us to come, we'll make sure to target our education sessions depending on the audience, because
Yeah.
we want to be able to reach who we're speaking to. You have to know your audience when you're presenting. And so we want to do that. But we do have support groups. We have the Good Samaritans. They are a support group. They help persons who are actually living with HIV who already know their status. We have Sash Bahamas. We have the DeMarco Foundation. They also partner with us. They help to navigate persons through the system, link persons to care, bring people into care. And so those are just some of the resources uh, available to persons. And so, like I say, if anyone still wants to get a bit more information, we encourage them come and see us tomorrow, or you can give us a phone call. Our numbers here, we have new numbers because we're in a new space now in Palmdale on Rosetta Street.
Okay.
Is 604 9060. That's one of the numbers that you can reach us at. Additionally, you can try 604 9066 for you to get a bit more information. Even if you want to arrange one of those educational sessions, we'll be able to help you with that.
Oh, that's awesome. Again, you provide facilitators for educational sessions with targeted groups. That
And we don't want you to think, okay, my group meets on a Saturday morning or and I know government hours is Monday. No. Once you give us enough notice for us to make arrangements, we are there for. We have one of our members of the team this Saturday. They're going to be presenting to a group of young men, and so I don't want persons to say, "Oh, there's probably a bad day, a bad time," because it's outside working hours. No, we understand. We want to meet people where they are. We know that we cannot do everything we need to do Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and so we know we have to tweak what we do just to be able to reach maximum capacity of people.
Absolutely. That is awesome. That type of sensitivity and spatial awareness is what makes campaigns like these successful. Just before you go, well, my last question, and I'll let you leave us with your last words. What small actions can men and women take to help stop the spread of HIV?
I think one of the things is what we're doing tomorrow and next week Friday, and that's knowing your status, because that's we're working towards what we call our 95, 95, 95 goals, which is in an effort for us to end the AIDS epidemic by 2030. And the first 95 speaks to persons knowing their HIV status. We want persons who have HIV to actually be aware of their status. And once you know your status, and if you are positive, you're able to get on medication. And for persons who are on medication and they are what we call virally suppressed, that means the HIV in their body is at a very low level. That greatly reduces the risk of them transmitting HIV to someone else. So we have women who are living with HIV, they're pregnant. Once they take their medication, get virally suppressed, they end up having negative babies. And it also works when you look at sexual relationships. So that's why we strongly encourage persons to know their status so that if they're positive, they can get the help that they need. So they, on their lives and on a communal level, they're able to offer protection to those that they're sexually involved with or their children.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. One quick question. It's a bit awkward. It's a bit awkward. I want to ask this question: do men generally feel like because they can use a condom as a protective aid, that they don't really need to know their status because they are protecting themselves from infection and protecting others from transmission through use of the condom? And is that a bad thing idea to perpetuate?
Well, that the first thing is we are not a condom like culture, so a lot of persons condom use is not consistently there, and so for a condom to work properly to do its job, a condom needs to be used correctly and consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And so you look at how we could start at the beginning, the way condoms are stored. Condoms need to be stored in a place that's cool. You need to be aware of condoms. They have an expiration date. So just like how your milk expire, condoms expire as well. And a lot of person, like, tell me the last time you look at your condom stash to see what's the expiration date.
Look how we got to sue BPL. Not you, just me, not you. I mean, just the people with urine, not me, just the people with urine.
And then we look at how we open the condom, some of us, we're in such a big rush that we feel we have to use our teeth to bite them open.
Yes, no, sir. Sorry, go on.
We got to rush. And so by then, you could be damaging the condom. And so all of these things can happen.
Yeah.
A lot of people assume they know how to use a condom correctly, but believe it or not, they still don't know how to put it. They're using it, but they ain't using it correctly.
Yes, ma'am.
And so that's why we cannot say that, I use a condom, so I don't need to be tested. Because even if you do all that, nothing is 100% effective,
Yes.
And so that's why we still encourage you to do your test. And another thing with men, and I'm glad it's Men's Health Month, I know my time going, but with men, a lot of men say, well, my wife, my girl, she just had a baby last year. She just went to the doctor. Her test say negative, so that means I straight too. No, it does not. You got to do your own test. Just because your sexual partner has a negative test, that does not necessarily mean that your test is negative. And so we encourage everyone, do your own test. Don't say my test is this because my partner, the person who I have sex with, their one is that. Everybody we encourage, and we hear that a lot, mainly from our men. So we want to encourage you to know your own status and be tested.
Listen, thank you so much. I have a text here. It says, tell your guests in the Bahamas a refreshment is a collect gold and not a Sprite soda. This time I need a letter from both of my Grammys to be able to drink a collect gold, But they don't
play. I respect them. I respect collect gold.
You know what I'm saying? But they go on to say, great show as usual. First of all, we don't use condom in the Bahamas. Condoms for cowards. Second thing, AIDS don't exist in Nassau. And I think that the texter is facetiously presenting some of the common myths that are perpetuated about and around HIV in the Bahamas.
We hear that often, condom is for cowards. And so that's a common misconception.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we're trying to encourage persons, that condoms know you want to be sensible with this and know what you're getting yourself involved with.
Absolutely. I'm going to have you back on soon so we could continue this conversation. See, whether people want to have the conversation or not, they need us to be having the conversation so they could do the things that they want to do. Oh, I got another text here that says, don't forget to say that the condom must be changed while having sex if... Yeah. Oh, basically, the text is saying, because it's a little explicit text, that we have to be careful to remember that we may need to use things like lube because there are situations where a condom can be damaged or broken during intercourse, right? And they were just saying, don't forget that there are many ways that your condom could be damaged even if you put it on correctly.
Exactly. Thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you so much, Nurse Lewis. I've got to go to a break now, but I will have you back on the show very, very soon.
Awesome. Thank you, too. Thanks.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you, Arlington. Let's go to a break. And to my listening audience, we will be right back after the break with my guest co-host, Mr. Darwin Thompson, and my guest today for Men's Health Month, Mr. Alonzo Butler. We will be right back, Bahamas.
I've been representing all my life. I'm getting ready to make it count this time. Since it's 2021 for your family line, you better get ready. It's about that time. So tell mama to be ready. Tell it to the whole family. The rock the top 4-2. The count depends on you. So tell Ted to go tell below. Mark it down on your calendar. Since it's 2021, this one's for everyone.
There comes a time when the game tolerates no spectators, only players. There comes a time when we must recognize that our individual aspirations shape our collective destiny. There comes a time when getting in the game, despite the risks, despite the challenges, regardless of the cost, is simply the right thing to do. There comes a time when we must find our hearts, find our soul, and pursue our purpose for the greater good of all, for country, for humanity. There comes a time when we must manifest our true greatness. Yes, there comes a time, and that time is now. So let's get down to the essentials. The essentials. Serious radio for serious people committed to advancing the national conversation.
The Essentials with Hubert Edwards, Thursday nights live at 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Good morning, Bahamas, and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. You're on the clock with Erin, Greene. On the clock, we have conversations that help us understand and navigate a rapidly changing Bahamas. Let's pause for a financial minute. Did you know the new Public Finance Act 2021 will focus on improving transparency of public finance and the governance arrangements for public entities? This new law comes into effect July 1st, 2021. This financial minute has to you by the Ministry of Finance. Good morning. I want to apologize to the Chargé d'Affaires of the U.S. government. Technically, we ain't in no real international high-level trade talks. I only trying to sell the woman about 6 or 17 cases of mango. That's all it is, really. But I want to inspire young Bahamians to believe in yourself. Now, on to the World Organization. I have a text here that says, "Good morning, Erin, a very brilliant idea on the WMO. But please do not any more info on it, because if you are about implementing it, your idea can be taken and adapted." Let me say, if you are bold enough to create a mango forest or a fruit forest, and you don't tell Erin Greene about it or let her get like 5%, if you let me get 10%, I can share with you. I come in and I'm going to procure the things myself. I'm not thieving because I planted the seed.
Yeah.
Right? It ain't technically thieving, but we do have a story in today's Tribune about farm thieves need a tougher penalty. But I think we need to re-examine all systems to ensure that they include or capture the need. Focus on agricultural theft, right? I got another text here, LOI, hope your WMO is successful, KML. Well, I hope it doesn't get shut down in the initial stage. I do think it will be a success. Remember when LOI was the Minister of... What a good time. Don't forget that union's challenge on BPL blackout in today's Tribune. Well, another text here says, don't forget mango skin women. We can't make mango skin. God makes mango skin women, okay? Let's not go beyond our station. Discriminate, please. Colorism is alive and well. We must love each other. So back to the show. My second guest today is Alonzo Butler. He works in both the hospitality industry and is a personal fitness trainer. Today I want to continue my series on men's health with a man that I know personally, because I know plenty of y'all don't think I actually know any men. A man I have known since we were both just little children. And I am constantly impressed by his professionalism, his personal maturity, and commitment to community. He is also one of those men at the beginning of the series I told you I saw asking if people wanted to have discussions about Men's Health Month, and if people were prepared or willing to facilitate those discussions. And I thought, if I have a son, this is a man I would want my son to have in his life. And I also thought about the importance of intergenerational conversations between men. And so here we are. Please introduce yourself and give your real bio. Can I just tell the people what I think you do?
It's very important. Thank you very much. I really am appreciative of this opportunity. Again, my name is Alonzo Butler.
You have to speak right into the mic.
Right. I am a personal fitness trainer as well as a hospitality expert to some degree. I've been in the industry for well over 10 years. I've also had a well amount of years of experience in the insurance industry as well. But more so, I've been utilizing, especially after COVID, my personal love and wellness towards the fitness business, towards endowing the persons that need it with some form of assistance, because I realize that, health and wellness, it goes beyond just the body. And during this particular time, especially with COVID, we've had a lot of persons that actually, for the lack of a better word, they just jumped off the bus.
Yeah.
They just decided to say, well, okay, bus stop here.
Yeah.
I'm done with this. This is too hard for me. And there's a direct correlation between physical fitness and mental wellness. Right. So this is why I use my hobby, and I decided to go into it full time and put forth some form of benefit. And men's health is very, very important.
One of the questions I had sort of later on the list, but let's get to it right now. And it's another one of those awkward questions. Like, I'm not sure if I'm asking it correctly, right? But what I wanted to ask was, is there a link between a man's self-confidence and self-esteem and his physical fitness and his ability to carry his own weight, pull himself up over a fence, or his ability to defend himself and to defend others? Because I grow up and I use it in my political satire, and I say, and I used to have a whole routine that, please tell the Christian Council, this is just how it went, please tell the Christian Council that I am prepared to marry a man if you could find me one of them old-time man who used to get up in the morning, go out in the field, pick half a field of mango or onion, and then go build the rest of the house, right? I tell them, if you find me that man, I gonna marry him. But really, it's not about the physical ability. It's about the identity, the sense of self that you encounter with a man who knows that he can do things and produce things with his hands and his body.
Right.
And do you think that is that true, or am I just a woman sort of perpetuating some feminist foolishness?
No, you're absolutely right. It actually ties into the concept of what we would call rites of passage, where, which actually, in my personal opinion, is disappearing. Because, there's 4 real rites of passage that we really go through at this time, particularly birth, the transition from childhood to adulthood, marriage, and then death. That's the 4 that we go through. But typically, when you talk about going into the field and being a man, where you would provide by going out, putting in the work, and bringing it home, in terms of bringing it home for your family, there's elements of that are still in existence. But as far as the manual labor side, to me, that side is diminishing. But you're absolutely right on that same path. But that it ties into the aspect of rites of passage when you talk about it in that sense.
Right. And that was my first question on the list. I think they are important. I don't know if we have any or any and let me rephrase that. I know that we do have some, right? I don't know if we have any collective things that we all practice at a national level. I know that we have this one that says if you want to act like an adult, then you need to figure out how you're going to pay your own mortgage or your own rent, right? And that has become a traditional rite of passage. So I know a number of women who got married because that was the pathway out of their parents' homes, right? And I wonder, when I want to ask you this personal question, and you too, Darwin, when and how did you become a man? Right? Do you go to road traffic And then when you get your license, you go on this next line and they give you another certificate and say, look here, if the police stop you, show them this and say, boss, I's man. If you in the club and the girl trifle with you, show the card, use mine.
Well, you know, it's more than just age.
Yeah.
It's more than just age. So it isn't about the ID, but that is a minuscule part of it. Well, I would say for the case of situation, I would say becoming a man is like when you decide to embrace a greater sense of purpose outside of yourself, outside of your personal self. So that means that it becomes less about you and more about the other people. It becomes less about the quality of our presence that we give, but more about our presence of person being there.
Yeah.
So that's what I think becoming a man is. And then, of course, you take on responsibilities and you turn those responsibilities into a way of being able to accept, deal with, and be comfortable with it. So, for instance, I now have a bill to pay. And I know I have to work in order to get monies to pay this bill. So I'm now making my work more comfortable, more feasible for me to be able to get this funds in order to pay this bill as a sign of responsibility. So you're able to now adjust the ability to make things comfortable versus tedious. And that's some of the things that I feel as though has made me personally, and not only that, but of course, watching the persons ahead of you, learning from persons that are senior.
Spatial awareness,
Yes,
and being able to...
communal awareness and that sort of thing. You know, it doesn't, you don't become a man just by going through experiences on your own. You become a man by actually listening to other men that have bucked their toe.
Now, I want to ask you both, were you prepared for manhood by the older men around you or in your family and community?
Yeah, on my side, for sure, I was. And from my perspective, I became a man when I understood what it was to respect every and anybody, yet still maintain my personal beliefs, personal freedoms, while respecting the beliefs and freedoms of others, while also advocating for and pushing for the rights of other people. And as a man of the community, being somebody that stands up for others when they need that help. I don't look at a man as the typical gender role man, that the responsibility side of things and all of that, although that is a big aspect of it. I think that the biggest thing is respect, love, and appreciation for life and those around you, and also being a man in the, I'd say, technical sense, right? So understanding what it is that has to be done when it has to be done for yourself and for others around you. Yeah.
Or like on that note, I got this neighbor, right? I did tell you all this story about the superhero named Kenny the other day. You see how I know Kenny is through my neighbor. When they say birds of a feather flock together, I ain't talking about y'all imperial crown pigeons in my neighbor's secret tree right now. I'm talking about how men make community with other men that have similar ideals and ideas. And I got this neighbor named Mr. Neil Knowles, and he runs a heavy equipment business. And whenever there's a hurricane, like my whole life from he been running this business, this man, when the storm is approaching, he determines how much of his equipment he can safely maintain at his home. And then when the storm passes, he uses that equipment to clear the way out for everybody, right? And his team will go out, and even if some of the people could shelter in place at his house, his staff, and then they go out from his home as the center, and they clear the pathway for the entire community. And then they go out into the wider community and clear pathways, right? And I see that as a sign of maturity and manhood, right? And then like it's another man I grow up with, and I watch him mentor his staff and try to create a space where the men, because it's typically men working with him, can learn the things that you require for maturity and professionalism. Right?
Right.
And I want to say to older men right now, like, please don't make me set my aunties on y'all. But these young men need you to create a pathway for engagement. You've learned a lot through trial and tribulation, and that's why I asked this brother here today to share with younger men what he has learned through trial and tribulation, through lived experience. And I got a text here for you. Tell your guests everyone is think they man until you have to pay that mortgage every month, and school don't prepare you for that.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't ascribe to that. Women pay a mortgage too. So thinking that we're man because we pay a mortgage is a bit of an off statement for me.
You know what? And absolute, you can't even deliberate more on that, because we have to get rid of this masculinity thing when it comes to man, because again, the perception, and just hear me out, the perception of being a man, the definitions of manliness and masculinity, as it perceives in society, which includes, generally speaking, drinking, being angry, misogynistic behavior, things like that.
Right.
That because as a heterosexual man or as a gay man, you still are a man.
Yeah.
Now, as a gay man, you might be more sensitive to your sensitive side. You might be more sensitive to things, but as in the grander scale of things, it's not looked at as manly.
Yeah.
So, we have to get rid of this notion. And I agree with you 100% on that. We have to get rid of this notion of that.
The masculinity and maturity and manhood cannot be tied, or should not be tied, to your sort of economic viability.
Right.
Right? So the level of mature manliness you have is tied to how much money you can make, or in the relationship, how much more money than you make from your partner.
Yeah.
And I think that the younger generations of Bahamians are moving away from that idea. Definitely.
Right.
Because they understand that the two constructs, the capitalist construct and the religious fundamentalist construct, can no longer work together.
Right.
No longer can one parent manage the household for the average household.
Exactly.
Both parents need to work. And not only do we need to shift our structures in society to facilitate that, but culturally we need to shift to accommodate men and women, right? Go on down.
And I also want to say, as somebody who's done both, who's both taking care of a family, never expected my wife to earn $1. I mean, she is now. She's a brilliant writer, so everybody loves her and wants to pay her to do it. But as someone who's lived both sides, I feel neither less manly nor less, I'd say, powerful, as some people may describe, in my home, just because my wife makes money to be able to keep us afloat, right? We live in the Bahamas, the highest, the country with the highest rate of charges for any kind of product.
Yeah.
You look at a product here, and then you look at it in the States, it's $20 here, and it's 5 cents in the States, right? It's difficult for one person to manage a home, especially if you're working on a minimum wage.
Yeah.
You have to let go of that
It's
premise
impossible.
that women can't contribute to the household. That is,
Or shouldn't, and the man should do it
shouldn't,
all.
right.
And I got another interesting question for you guys. Are platonic relationships, so that between opposite sex, so that means a relationship with no romantic or sexual or not emotional, but no romantic or sexual interest at all. Are platonic relationships with women important for men? And have you ever had a girlfriend or like a fiance who tried to prohibit you or stop you from having woman friends?
no, not on my end, not at all. And I think that platonic relationships with women as men is important to a degree. And I, again, being a young, quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes right now, young man, my views are that, of course, you want to have female friends. One, for the perspective that they can provide for you in the issues that you may have with your wife, and as well, well, maybe not that so much, but as well, how you can become a better man from their eyes as well. Because you find that women give great advice to men.
Yeah.
If I could chime in.
Yeah.
Having platonic relationships, especially with the opposite sex, I feel as though with very much a lot of scrutiny when you don't wish to cross the boundary of your partner, because you have to be sensitive to that.
Yes.
It is very important, but you also have to be very, very mindful of the fact that, what is priority at that particular point.
Yeah.
For me, I would definitely say that I have the ability to speak on the importance of being in a relationship and also having friends platonically as female. And of course, there is boundaries that you should keep in order to keep your partner comfortable with that. So, it's a good thing to have, especially when it comes down to being able to be sensitive to the other side of the gender.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
at the same time, it is about the amount of respect that you should be able to exhibit, especially when you know your partner and you know how your partner is when it comes to the behaviors of females, because the female will be the first to tell you that I know how women go because I am one. They will be the first to tell you that. So they will tell you, hey, listen, you would not see what I am able to see.
Oh, trust me, I know.
I just watched a video yesterday.
You would not see.
Like my phone must be spying on me, right? Because as I'm typing up some of these questions, this video pops up, and it is a woman who it's a comedic skit, and she's telling her boyfriend, they live together, that her girlfriend is coming over. Her friend, who's a girl, and he must stay in the bedroom. He must stay properly clothed at all time. He must not come out because she has a self-control problem and she's addicted to men. And so it's a sort of role reversal, right? And he said, well, in my house I could sneak out to get some snacks, and he's wearing a singlet, a sleeveless undershirt. And the friend sees him and begins her machinations, right? But essentially the girlfriend is saying, listen, I know women. Just trust me. I don't care if you think you could protect yourself. I understand the nature of a woman, and I am telling you in this moment, I need you to trust me. And then at the end of the skit, eventually he finds out that his partner was correct and he should have trusted her, right?
Right.
But it's interesting, sort of some of the rules that people in intimate partner relationships put on men, right? On each other. But I'm fascinated by the rules, this idea that a woman would tell a man that he can't have woman friends and he can't hang out with other women. I think that is ridiculous. Now, mind you, at the same time, I can understand a woman wanting to talk to her partner about the particular women he may be interacting with and the concerns. And I think that he should be open to that if he's considering a long-term relationship. Only because you married, you get to speak.
I think it's also important that women look at their friends too. In that specific scenario, women and men, both sides, look at their friends and question, why is your self-control so lacking around my particular husband or wife? We got to question our friendship at that point. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to put this question out here, and maybe you don't have to answer it because it's sort of awkward. I hear a lot of women and younger women complaining about young men's, not virility, libido, and saying that they're surprised that a lot of men have sort of dysfunctional sexual health, if I could use that term, right? Do young men, and are they getting the message that they need to focus on their physical health as a part of their sexual health? Are they getting that message? And are a lot of men abusing alcohol and other substances and abusing food, and inadvertently are they not aware that they're really causing a lot of damage or creating an environment for future sexual dysfunction?
Yes, that is correct. They are doing that. Subconsciously, there are as well. Especially when, when you have the mental stress take hold.
Yeah.
Persons lean on vices to deal with mental stresses.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, there's something that's very sensitive to that, which is why there is the correlation between mental and physical fitness and wellness, which is why the term wellness was added, because you have to make sure that you're mentally well in order to be able to physically function. Your brain is actually in control of your organs, and your organs need to be in physical functional order. There's muscles that we control physically, like your arms, your legs, but then there's muscles that the brain controls that we have no control over, like the muscles to run your organs to use the bathroom. We don't
Your
control
genitals,
that. Our brain controls that, and we have to make sure that we have proper brain function. But when we lean on vices, again, like, speaking generally, not specifically, but if we lean on vices, some persons lean on the drinking, some persons lean on the smoking and that sort, and they will take it overboard in order to drown out, then it tends to take a hold on their physical ability, hence affecting their sexual ability and their ability to perform when it comes time for that particular stage. And again, not even being aware that they're functioning properly, they get surprised when they try to have children, for instance, and realize that the sperm isn't.
Yes, they have a supremely low, low
sperm count, or it's no activity.
Right.
You see, so that happens with that.
So I want to mention also from the gender norms aspect, especially for younger persons and younger married couples, you have people that interject their opinions. Opinions like, oh, the man ain't getting enough food, you ain't giving him enough food. Just as simple as getting the portions for your husband becomes an anxiety-filling affair because you think, oh, wow, I must need to give him... Like, your husband needs a certain amount, but now somebody is telling you, but you need to give that man some more food. And so that contributes to this issue of overeating and overindulging. Because, at least for younger people, it's very nerve-wracking to believe that you're not doing the right thing within your relationships. You want to get things on point. But that was just the point I wanted to make. Yeah.
So we're almost out of time. Mr. Butler, I'm going to leave you with this last question. I want you to think about this for when you come back again. Think about this question. How are you preparing for getting older? But the question I want to leave with you for the audience is, what advice do you have for young men transitioning into manhood and adulthood?
That's a very broad but very specific question. In the same token, I'm glad that you asked that. I would definitely say that exposure is very, very important, but exposure in the right way. I was lucky to have certain individuals in my life from an exposure perspective that was able to teach me certain things, but I also had to take the liberty of being interested in learning those things. So, like persons who were pivotal in my growing up, like Mr. Simpson Penn, my father.
Call your father's name, man.
Alonzo Butler Sr. And for those who don't know of his executes and work, I'm very proud of what he's accomplished in his life. And it's very, very touching, the fact that I was able to learn so much from him, from a disciplinary standpoint, from an education standpoint, from a service standpoint, from being able to be remembered as giving it your best shot, as a mantra. I'm very, very happy and very aware of that. But as far as growing up, I would say definitely exposure. I would also say, while you are younger, take care of the temple that you have, because as you get older, adjustments are made that are beyond your control. And when I say those adjustments, I mean things that you were capable of eating yesterday, you can't digest today. Simple as that. I know a lot of persons that used to eat conch continuously, daily. Once they reach 30, that ship sailed.
Listen. I crying now.
That ship
Because
sailed.
10 years ago, I missed and eat 300 mangoes off my mango tree, right? And I did get sick over the course of the summer. And at 45 now, I'm realizing that I can only eat like 7 mangoes at a time now. And my body is shifting and I'm becoming old.
Right.
But look here, I would like to thank you so much for joining me in this conversation. I get one text here. Erin ain't lying. Some of these young cats' belly too big. Sis, it takes blood. Oh, yes. Definitely the sexual health function is off. I want to say to men and to the women in men's lives, when you see men with these extended, hard belly, like if you punch him, you could hurt your hand, that may be fatty liver disease. And there may be some underlying conditions there. And it's important for you to encourage your loved ones to go to a doctor and have a health screening. Absolutely. Thank you, texter. And I want to say thank you to my texter who loves the mango-skinned women. You know I can't read your text, but I want to thank you for entertaining me this morning. I could not say some of them things on the air, not because they were profane, just that the people don't need to laugh like that. Another text, please let men know that being a man doesn't mean degrading a woman, treating her bad, or telling her off. Being a businesswoman means she's trying to be a man, or telling her that being a businesswoman means she's trying to be a man. Men here still think women should be barefoot in the kitchen pregnant. Beating and cheating women does not make you a man. It's 2021 and women can run businesses. Also, that is, in fact, it makes you a real conch.
Oh, trust me, I've heard of it.
Yeah, if you were around here beating and cheating on women, you is the conch.
Yeah, that's the masculinity thing I was talking about,
Yeah.
how it's looked at, you know.
Yeah.
And we have to be sensitive to that across the board and get rid of that stigma
Yeah,
of that.
because I know far more good men than bad men. So don't ever let nobody tell you you's a bad man. Unless, of course, you got some personal issues and characteristics you have to work on. And then you tell them, I'm working on it. Right? Have a good day, Bahamas. Thank you to Mr. Butler. Thank you to Mr. Thompson. Tomorrow is our Father's Day show. So please send mango proposals in the pink envelope. Marriage proposals in the black envelope. Black is for funerals. Have a great day, Bahamas. Levon Miller and Unleashed is up next.